So let's start it up. Okay, we'll start the recording. All right, thank you very much.
Oh my God.
How dare you?
But I want to say one thing to the American people. I want you to listen to me. I'm going to say this again. I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky. I never told anybody to lie, not a single time, never. These allegations are false, and I need to go back to work for the American people. Thank you.
It's running out. Hi, everybody. This is the Godfather, Soul James Brown. I tell you, this beat is on. My man is on. Check him out. This is the Godfather, Soul James Brown saying, stay with it and hit it. Okay, thank you very much.
Little levity. Happy Monday for everybody.
Yes, it's another Monday, and we're excited to have everybody here with us. Hey, want to let people know that you are watching Innervision FM. My name is Johnnie J, and of course we have our co-host Alan C, and anybody else in the house. We have our our people that come in and out of the meetings as well, and we'll catch the show later on. And we also want to ask to give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and to follow us and subscribe to our PayPal account, which is paypal.me slash Innervision Denver. That's paypal.me slash Innervision Denver. And also, if you want to find out more about me, I'm running for District 5 here in Colorado, House District 5. So you can go to Johnnie J for Colorado House District 5.com. You can find out more about my campaign. So anyway, so a lot of things are happening. How was your weekend, Alan?
You know, it was not bad. How was your weekend, Johnny?
Well, I did a binge on Ozark because they dropped
The
the
season finale for season 4, so season
yes,
5
man.
isn't coming out for quite some time.
I don't know if they're gonna have a season five. Because they had a video talk about how the creation of it and who directed it and how they built the characters. So I have a feeling that maybe this is it. They say, hey, let's go out on a high note. So, and not to be a spoiler, but I mean, it looks like this might have been it. And man, I don't know, man. It was I don't know. I know there's a world like that with cartel and the gangsters that kill
Oh
each
yeah.
other and all that kind of stuff. And I don't know, man. It just seemed like what a waste, just for money. What a waste of life. And some of these people are like they're very intelligent and they could have did many other things, but they chose to do this lifestyle and I don't know, and it's just I yeah, these people exist and that's the way it is. So yeah, I spent most of the weekend binging on the Ozark, and I haven't finished watching the wrap up of it of who produced what and who directed what and the actors, but it definitely was interesting and I guess I recommend it. They kept doing this thing in the Bible. They said they put something in the Bible, and they said, well, they'll never find it because they put it in the Bible. So
Right.
you sort of like it shows like a family who's secular, who probably don't ever go to church or ever Oh, well, the only time they ever did go to church was when they were kind of, you know, pack the cocaine in the hymnals, and it was a drug deal, and the preacher didn't agree with that. So
Well,
I
I
don't
could
know.
see why not. You just never know. I mean, it's a strange world we live in.
Yes. So
All right.
hey, Ashlyn,
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm doing well.
Yeah. Hey, call me or after the show, after this is done recording. I want to
Right.
tell y'all something after this is over. I want to tell y'all something, and certainly you're gonna want to know. So certainly I want to tell you
All
guys
right.
something.
Okay. We shall
A
do
little bit
that.
of breaking news. That's very much appreciated.
Yeah.
We featured Ashton last week from the
Yeah.
Special Olympics. So we'll get
Yeah.
back with you on that one after the show.
Right.
Okay. Now let me
Okay.
let's see. Let me get down to my my show notes.
Oh my God.
Okay. Let me get down
Well,
to
we're
my.
going to talk a little bit about the BLM tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it racist for them to not report their 990s as all nonprofits are
Required to do
supposed
it.
to?
Yeah, and it's so funny that they would say, "Oh, it's racist," and all, and I'm thinking like, I've had my nonprofit since 1993, and it takes you a while to. I mean, it's especially if you're just starting out from like grassroots up, and it takes you. And then I hired me a accountant, and sure, it was expensive for me at the time. It was like $200, right? And but the accountant says, okay, keep your receipts. Come in and see me. Like either we could either do it quarterly, we could do it yearly, and
Right.
then you have to fill out this 990, which tells the IRS and tells everybody else because nonprofits have to be transparent
Absolutely.
and
Absolutely. And so
and
anything for
yeah.
75,000 has to be reported, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. And even though we weren't really doing that, and then they changed the rules that when I first started, it was everybody who had to do the 990. Then
Right.
they said, well, okay, we'll knock off that paperwork for the people that are making, receiving just 75,000 or under. So then
Right.
we just have to submit the postcard. So hey, we say, hey, great. But we notice that, okay, if you look at the Red Cross, you see like they fill out a 990, and you find out that they spend 10% on the mission, but 90% goes towards administrative costs.
Well, and that's an interesting piece that you bring up. When not-for-profit organizations do the marketing and that kind of thing, generally that is how it works out.
Right. So for BLM to say that it's racist for people to want to know where that $99 million went, I would have to see that. I would just say that they were just in the spirit. They were just seeing all this money coming in, and then they just thought it was like money for a free fall, and they started spending money on whatever they wanted and not being accountable for these donations because they figure, well, almost like it was a you owe me this, so I don't have to tell you nothing. And then the IRS stepped in and said, wait a minute, whether we owe you this or not, or whether your donors owe you this or not, you have to be transparent and you have to, and it's not like a for-profit business. A for-profit business,
Yeah,
hey,
our organization should be, that's like the Special Olympics, man. They a lot of their money goes to staff and stuff like that, and it's like,
yeah,
but no money goes to us as athletes. That's a problem when it's ran off the backs of us too. That's sad.
yeah, but and you see, like, well, even if they had the Red Cross, they do 90% goes towards the administrative costs. Administrative costs could be for, well, yeah, it is for like staff members or people that help
Facilities,
to make it.
kitchens, all that other
Yeah,
stuff.
and
They gotta cook.
so, I don't know, and and from what I see, what BLM did was it was going mainly for the founders, and even they
Uh,
went into black neighborhoods and destroyed businesses and stuff like that. I never saw them go back into those businesses and say, "Hey, we're sorry. Let's develop some businesses in these zones. We destroyed them. We'll come back and fix them up." And that is probably another reason why the IRS is going after them, because the mission statement is Black Lives Matter, and if you're going to go in and destroy Black lives, you should be able to go back in and fix Black lives, which I guess they got caught in a catch 22, and so it's just interesting. Us as a smaller nonprofit, we know you got to fill out your 990, but this organization is making you know millions of dollars didn't know that little simple thing. So so
it is
it is
Wow.
interesting
interesting. We'll see
coming up.
Wow.
what
It is.
happens.
It is interesting, especially coming up.
I
Helping
don't know.
to promote grassroots musicians and
Mhm.
folks wanting to break into this type of thing. Uh, there are all kinds of regulatory things that have to be followed to the letter because they will have the potential to come back and bite you.
Yeah.
Some interesting stuff, and this did not make the topic list, but
All right.
some interesting stuff happened over the weekend that our esteemed president decided that a disinformation governance board needed to
Oh
be
man.
created. And so, we've known for months that we need to be careful with our benevolent overlords at YouTube and make sure that we're watching our P's and Q's
I got
with.
a what? I mean, everybody's talking about Elon Musk and other people, folks buying all this stuff. And for me, I'm 30 years old. The political stuff, I really don't know. I mean, I've marched in Black Lives Matters marches, but not
Sure.
everybody out there is tearing up stuff or breaking
Right.
stuff, you
Right.
know. So, but I would say that all organizations should be accountable for, finances, because that's money. But I
Yes.
would say that Elon Musk buying Twitter, some say that that's a good idea, others say no. To
Right.
me, it doesn't matter to me, because the platform, people are going to be able to say their opinion. I haven't had any problems really with Twitter. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know, unless you're on there talking about harming somebody or other things, then yeah, I mean, there should be some borderline stuff that should be said, that should be done on these platforms. All of them. There are some things that you shouldn't be allowed to say, right? So we know
Well, on
those.
this platform, we got a strike against us because we put out. I went out and filmed
Mhm.
let's see, a rally talking about voter integrity, voter accountability, and so YouTube gave us a strike because they didn't like Mike Lindell, they didn't like Tina Peters, and you probably don't know these guys because they're for if there should be no dead people voting. There should
Oh
be
man,
no.
no, like no, there shouldn't be none of that. It would be crazy. I told somebody, I said, there are some things that, like I said, all things should have what? Boundaries. And if you're dead, no matter who you are, whatever, you shouldn't be voting. If you're in prison and things like that, I think if you've served your time, and like there was a lady here in Texas that, like I said, that kind of thing. But I think if you've served your time, there should be grace. I don't think that the book should be thrown at people and all this other stuff. I'm 30 years old, so I look at the political stuff as stuff that to me doesn't really make sense. It seems old timey, and but that's what runs the United States.
Yeah.
Not young people. A lot of political stuff, it doesn't make sense to me. But what does make sense to me is if we don't get our act together and stop dealing with these wars and messing with people and leave people be and leave them alone, then we'll have a much
Yeah.
better country, because we're not being sent in the war. That's all I want. I just want peace. That's all I want.
And also, like a lot of, I guess because they're not teaching history in schools anymore, people don't know that in 1990, our government, and it was Bush there and the Soviet guys. They got together and they said the Ukrainians. They said that if you get rid of all your nuclear weapons
Mm-hmm.
and there's a war in your country, we would protect you. Now, fast forward to March or February, they
Mm-hmm.
got rid of all their weapons. Russia comes in and starts, really Putin. Forget about Russia. Putin
Right.
came with this philosophy, comes in and starts saying, "I want to annex you to my country," and then so the president of the Ukraine says, "Hey, America, remember what you said in 1990?" And slow Joe Biden says, "I don't remember that." And so it took him a long time to catch up to either somebody tapping on the shoulder and saying, back in 1990, this is what we said we would do.
Well,
So
I'm glad they did because you don't want a mistake of not sending any help. Like that would be a disaster. I don't care who you are. Like I told somebody when I saw the pictures that came back, like our church has dealt with some people who have come over from that part of the world and the horror stories that they tell. Forget the dang on TV. Listen to people that have been over there.
yeah,
It's bad. It's horrible. And America can't turn its back on them people if they sign, I wasn't alive and all that, but if they sign the document, whatever it is, and they claim to help, then now they're doing that. But I don't know if they can backfire on us where Russia could turn on us. And that's what I'm scared of.
have you ever watched those old cowboy movies where the Native Americans say the guys have forked tongues? They say, there's this guy speaks the forked tongue. Well, it was almost like, the American government in 1990 said one thing, and then when it actually started happening, they were speaking out of two sides of the mouths, right? And America has a bad history of, at least the government has a bad history of saying one thing and doing another,
Right.
like the 40 acres and a mule, and then the Reconstruction started, and then 10 years later, you know, the the Democrats and the KKK came in and Jim Crow, and they said no, we're going to get you to vote us in, and then we're going to reverse that, kick you off your land, and once again, they were speaking with forked tongues. So America had a bad history of that kind of stuff, and for Biden not to know what was spoke about back in 1990. I mean, he was there. He's been in the politician since 1972, so he was there when that treaty was put together. So it's not like he was MIA. He was there in the Senate and was a part of that. And so I don't know if it's just right now it's getting senile or whatever, and there's people and the young people that are working for him, maybe they don't study the history. Maybe they weren't born either, like you weren't born at that. Well, you were probably just a little baby at that time, right? So
Well, and I
yeah,
mean, in
so
Who, me?
yeah,
I, I was born in 1986, so a
okay.
lot
So
of
you were
this
just a little
stuff,
baby. Yeah, you were just a little
a
kid. You
lot of
weren't
this
even.
stuff to me doesn't. I mean, like I don't care if a person's Republican or Democrat. Like to me, because the newer generations are coming up that I talk to. A lot of this political stuff, it just seems really old timey. But that's what runs America, and that's what funds the Special Olympics.
Yeah.
They get so much money from political donations. We actually had a coin that they gave us when Donald Trump was in office. Special Olympics is not necessarily funded by the government, but they are funded by the government, if you know what I'm saying. They're grandfathered in to receive all kinds of money. And I want my story to be told and heard because this is all political too, right? What drives the Special Olympics? Why, who started it, all of that stuff. And when you see the pictures taken of who gets to go, it's mainly white people because that's the people that can afford to go. I don't have rich white parents. I don't have people that care about me. I don't have that in my life. I live in the real world. And when you live in a political society, that's not the real world. The stock market, that's not the real world. The real world is, can I eat every day? And if I can't eat every day, I don't care about political stuff when I'm sitting here wondering if I'm going to be able to pay my lights. And that's not a
You bring
Republican
up
problem,
a very valid point.
and that's
You're
not a Democratic problem. That's a everybody problem. This is what the church said. The church said we must step into the past, step into the fold, and step up because churches have been grandfathered into the Constitution in some ways because Christianity was the founding religion of the United States. You know, that's what people, gather around at the end of the day. And at the end of the day, that's how we say our graces. Amen. Right. So that religion funds America. That's what the backbone of America is about religion. And at the end of the day, we must step up, whether we're Democrat or Republican, and solve some of these problems and stop looking to the federal government to solve these problems, our parents
Yes.
to solve these problems. We must try to solve these problems one step at a time. Amen.
And that's what exactly what I'm saying. Less government, and anytime the government says we're going to help, you should run as far as you can to get away from government because every time government and
Oh, I'm
like I
thankful for government help. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the government. So there are some things that the
sure.
government does I'm grateful for, but there are some things that we have no idea. But I'm grateful for the what I call safety net programs because I would be dead today if it was not for them. I wouldn't be here talking to you.
I don't know. Okay, these programs started like in the 30s. So what happened to us before the 30s? Well, mostly we were either
I'm
living
glad
with.
they're here. I don't know. I mean,
Well,
whatever the
I could
case
tell
may
you
be.
because I've studied this. So what happened was either you had your little cup and you did it on the corner, or you were in a program where you could make knickknacks and sell them, or you lived under your parents' roof and you survived because they
But
survived.
that's different back then.
Right.
Like the construction of family, even, I'm a woman and I have dudes telling me you should cook. Well, no, we throwing hands because I don't cook for no man. I don't cuckoo. No, dude, I told the dude, if you think like you from the 19, you think you from the 1980s or something, next, I don't do none of that, right? Because I want somebody that's up to standards today, not something from the 1800s, not something from the 30s. The construction
Okay.
of society was different back
Right.
then. You studied all that, but I look at the construction of society and how black people were
Okay.
woefully underrepresented in these societies back then. It doesn't matter if you're Democrat or Republican. When, like my grandmother said, when I was worried about how I'm gonna eat bread or get bread, right, or wheat, I don't care. At the end of the day, I care about, can someone help solve the problem of mass ghettos and mass incarceration? And whether you're Republican, Democrat, whatever, you still see
Okay.
gainful numbers of black people and Mexicans going into jail. So who
Okay.
has solved
And
that problem?
and
I
you
don't know.
realize that in 1990, Bill Clinton and Joe Biden put together this crime bill, and they said three
Well, that
strikes
didn't
and
work
you're
out. I mean, that didn't work out too well
and
with the drug
yeah,
cartel. It didn't work.
yeah,
So
and
I
then
don't know.
three strikes and you're out. And mostly it was getting three strikes of black and brown people. Now Joe Biden, he's vice president. He never did
Wow.
reverse. We never did reverse that, or never even said he was sorry for putting all those black and brown people in jail
But I
over a
hope that he
bill
does.
that
There has been
no,
talk about it though,
he's not
right?
going to say
Because
he's. I mean, come on, look. It's been 1990. Him and Bill Clinton did that, and it's been how many years? How long does it
well,
take
he
before
talked
you?
about legalizing. He talked about through the legalization of marijuana, maybe wiggling something in that, like a package or something to, But to me, all I want is to see people, whether you're Democrat or Republican. I'm tired of seeing people locked up for something that God made. We're talking about a plant. I don't
Well,
care if you're Republican or Democrat. There's money
okay.
being made in that.
But you understand now the pendulum went over too far. So now they even let the violent criminals out because they said, oh, he had a bad childhood, so let him go out and kill somebody else because he had a bad childhood. So the pendulum has
Yeah,
swung
I'm not
too far
advocating for
again.
that. Yeah, I'm not
Well, I know,
advocating to let
but
bad
that's
people out. Yeah.
but that's what they're doing. They're taking the pendulum too far over to the left or to the right, and now they're letting out just anyway. They say no bail. You go do a crime, they let you back out, and then and then it escalates and escalates and escalates, and that's not a solution either. I'm thinking like you take the
Well,
violent
maybe
violent people off the streets, and the ones that are low violent, you
Then
give
that's
them a
what I'm
second
saying.
check.
Low, yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Low violence, and then like apartment complexes out here have like second chance leasing and all that. So
Huh.
a lot of things are here. It's do people want to follow the rules? I remember telling this dude, I said, "Hey, so and so can get you off the streets." I don't want to follow that. I said, "Well, then you're gonna be here tonight on the streets because you got somebody telling you, hey, if you follow these rules, we'll give you a bed." That's how I got off the streets because it was either continue to spin my wheels and do stuff on my own or have structure in my life. I don't care if you Democrat or Republican, having structure in your life works. Discipline works. My pastor once told me, he said on the stage, speaking at a service, the dude said, if you don't discipline your kids and stop being their friend, then they gonna run you. And that's what that dude said. He said, because what I noticed, this is a white dude. This is a white dude on stage at Mercy Culture Church this Sunday said, Black people discipline their kids in ways that white people do not. And he said at the end of the day, we have to find discipline in society because if we don't, we're gonna have problems.
Okay.
That's what he's saying. And so I think we have to learn to put kids in the shape, meaning stop being their friends, stop doing all this stuff. You know, I'm almost 40 years old. I don't look like it, but I don't know what to do. I do look, I'm 40 years old, but I don't look like it at all. But I will say this, we got to discipline people. And a lot of times people are too afraid of disciplining their kids. And I believe that the government oversight in some of that should maybe pull back because the government can't do everything. I said, I don't know if the government should be involved in raising kids. I think there should be oversight, like you can't beat your kid or things like that. But there has to be, in some areas, the government can pull back a little bit.
Now, tell me, as a young person, like I was mentioning in part of the stuff I was writing up, that because President Johnson put in this thing where he said the government will be your daddy. These guys that are going around, knocking up women and are MIA. If they do that, then the government will step in and we'll feed your children and stuff like that, just as long as you don't have the man in the house. And then we went from like 70%, 75% husband and wife family. 20 years later, we have all these single mothers. Now, are you seeing in your surroundings just these guys just going out and getting the milk without buying the cow, and
I see a
women
lot
just
of
putting up with that?
I saw a lot of that, especially in the 90s. And the fact I don't have a dad. My dad never wanted to be a part of my life. My dad said he didn't want me because I'm disabled. And you got a lot of.
He should have just wrapped it. If he didn't want to be a
He didn't
father,
want. He's never
he should have
been. He
wrapped it.
has never. I understand it, but he has never. He should have, but he has never been a part of my life. He has never wanted to come see me.
See,
Never
I don't
wanted to come
understand
check
that.
on me. And
I-
it's like, how do you have a child? And I've asked, hey, and my dad supposedly well off, and my dad has never come help me. My dad would rather see me homeless on the streets than give me a hand up. My dad has never come to help me. I've been on television. My dad has not once said, hey, I love you.
Well,
My mom's not here to tell me that either. And so
It
at
sounds
the
like
end of
it sounds like he's damaged in some way, and instead of him, not wrapping it up and going out and having sex with whoever, because you're probably not the only one he had, and just walked away.
I'm probably
What's-
not, because at the end of the day, having a fatherless home doesn't mean you can't have discipline, because my grandmother laid down. My grandmother wasn't finna play that. So I turned out to be a great person. So another thing that I hear people say, well, my dad wasn't in my life, so I turned out to be a criminal. Your choices
Your
made
choices.
you
You
be
bring
a
up- you
criminal,
bring up
baby.
very-
So
Very, very valid points. Very
your
hot topic.
choices, man. Like there are consequences, amen, for everything. I told this dude, we were talking, and he was like, well, such and such went to jail. Well, if you chose to get behind the wheel and you choose to drink and drive, everything's a choice before the door opens to your car. That's a choice in this life. And we have to know that in this life, we make choices. And sometimes in this life, some of those choices can be good. And some of those choices can be bad choices.
Okay.
And I
Al,
think
With
yeah.
on
Al,
innervisionfm.com. And if you have topics that you want to see discussed, hit us up at info@innervisionfm.com. Let's go ahead and move on.
Okay.
We, as blind people, run at, some people say 70%, other people say 80%, even some say the unemployment rate is high as 90%. A lot of us folks, as blind people, or otherwise disabled people, or even senior citizens, kind of get into this poverty mentality, that the idea that the reality that we live in, it's what we kind of, it's our lot in life. It's a substandard reality. And I don't know.
Wow.
We have this will and this interminable drive to just get out there and make it happen and keep punching at it and trying to, succeed against interminable odds. We as blind people can go from cradle to grave, theoretically, on the government dole, whether we like it or not, whether we want that kind of lifestyle or not.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, does receiving the monthly checks, does it disincentivize us to not really strive to make more? Because if we make more, then the government threatens that we'll take away your medical, we'll take away that cushion if you make more, instead of incentivizing us.
They do incentivize you. They actually told people to open an account through the ABLE program, but a lot of people, I don't want to do that. Well, then that's why you get your stuff taken from you, because the government's saying we do incentivize you to go work. So we allow you to deposit money into an account. But a lot of people are too lazy and they don't want to.
Wait,
For those
Jeff,
that don't know what an ABLE account is, those are government subsidized programs. You can look them up under a 529A status, I believe. And what they're designed to do is to basically put a little bit of money aside each month that is earmarked, but only for a specific purpose. Can't be touched, can't be used for any purpose other than that. It's similar to what they used to call a pass plan, which I believe they still have, planned for achieving.
You can access that money. They send you a card in the mail with the program now. So yeah, you can access it for whatever you want. You just can't go over the allotted amount. So if you get your check on the first of the month, you can only put $100,000 into that account lifetime, as long as you're living, right? If you get your check on the third, it's $300,000.
It's absolutely right. Thank you for bringing that up. That's awesome, because there are these rules and regulations that one, as a blind person or otherwise disabled person, have no idea about, and it's easy to get entangled.
Now, does this help you to get to save to start up a business? Is that what this funds are for, or
this is a gifting account? So if someone, because I have one, so if someone wants to give you money, now it's an ABLE gifting account. So the government earmarks that or labels that as a gift. So now you can use it for whatever you want to, because it's now a gift. It's not counted against you. It allows you to keep your government benefits without ruining everything. And so that's why I read it.
We're not financial advisors. We're not telling you how this works. We are telling you to do your own due diligence for yourself. This 529A account, and it might work for you. Some people do find it very helpful, very useful.
And
I do.
What I found is, when I met more blind people, it was some things they didn't know and I knew, and there's some things I didn't know they knew, and so we're just gonna spread that information. So just in case if you don't know that.
Yeah, exactly.
If you know some blind people, you can, I like to say that each one teach one kind of thing.
Right. Amen. That's right. And I like it because I have the account. And when you have it, you can heavily study it and how it works and those type of things. And it's important, because if I do want to start a business, guess what? Now I have my LLC. I can turn an LLC into a corp or a corporation, meaning you don't need a bunch of people to do that. Once
Oh,
you
yeah.
do that, you can pay your taxes to, guess what? The government, because everything that you have can essentially be written off when you're making that money. You see what I'm saying? Because I'm trying to start a public speaking business this way, right? And somebody's teaching me about what corporations are and why that's different and why they can help me. So it's a big deal.
And also,
Hey, we
people.
got a little bit of time to
oh,
hit
yeah.
this final topic. They're banning menthol cigarettes. I don't think it
Oh.
matters to you or me or anybody else, but
No.
quite
Yeah.
a large percentage of the black community smoke menthol cigarettes.
Yeah, I don't.
I kind of think that I kind of think that our most popular president ever elected in history, in our United States history anyway, I think he kind of shot himself in the foot. What do you guys think?
Well, I think if people are adults, if they choose to smoke menthol cigarettes, if they choose to
Sure.
smoke any kind of cigarettes, that should be the choice. Whether and they know the consequences. It's going to blacken their lungs. It's going
Right.
to do all these things. And if they choose, it's almost like when you get in a car, you make that choice. That car may
Yeah.
crash. It may not crash. Whatever. But that's the choice. Walking across the street, somebody may run into you. I had a friend that he was riding his bike and somebody ran him over and he had one of those out of body experience and he saw the license plates and all that kind of stuff and he was in a coma when it came out. He's able to tell the license plates. And the person never did turn themselves in. There was a borrowed car. They just returned the car with a little bent on the fender and didn't say nothing. But because he had this out of body experience, he saw the license plates and then they got him. They got the person who did it. So
Yeah.
so things are there are certain risks in life, and if menthol cigarettes is part of the risk that you want to take, I don't think the government should step in and say, well, we're going to treat you like a little child and say, no, you can't do this. It's like if you know the risk, you put the little tag on the thing, you raise up the price for taxes and whatever, let the person do it. If they're willing to pay for it, let them do it. Is my philosophy on that. Oh, we'd like to thank Christian Brothers Moving Company for sponsoring our year worth of shows here, and we'd like to let them know that we really appreciate you. And also, we have our car donation as well. And if there's topics that you want to talk about, I come up with a lot of. I just over the weekend I was thinking about this, and then it just led on to this and this, and I put
And
different
menthol
topics.
cigarettes was one of the topics that you brought up. And I would say this, I mean, people can have a choice to do stuff like that but apartments and all these newer structures going up, they're already writing in their leases that they don't want
No
people
smoking.
smoking stuff. So
Yeah.
I don't even know how you can combat that unless you don't want to stay there. I don't know, because legally these people can put that in their lease.
Well,
That's
and
another topic.
we have a smoking area down, and then our manager had to get in people about throwing their butts on the floor, which I'm not sure what's the mindset. It's a trash can there. Pick up after yourself. It's not like your little kids. So
No, not at all. And
so-
they're nasty. So yeah, that's not a good deal.
so anyway, so we'll see what happens with this. I hope some people are going to be pushing back. If 85% of black people smoke this thing, I hope 85%.
Not me.
Flood those phone lines in Washington and say, hey, we like our menthols and
Hey,
we
don't
want to
forget
keep
to tell our
smoking.
president about how much you love his disinformation governance board. Don't forget to thank him from the bottom of your heart,
Yeah,
because that is tantamount to taking away the First Amendment, in my opinion.
yes. So okay.
Yeah, I
so,
don't. What is it? So the board. See, I don't know much about all this political stuff. The
Go
board
ahead
that he
and- go
has
ahead and
checks
Google that.
information.
Find all the information you need on that.
Yeah,
I bet
and,
y'all will.
and there's a guy named Snow. He doesn't live in America anymore, but he
No.
got these documents that talked about how the government has been spying on us, the citizens, because they can tap in on our phone line. So when the guy said, when he lies and say, we're not going to be surveilling American citizens, they're a liar because the Snow.
Anybody should know that the government gonna surveil you. If you got a credit card, let me tell you one of my friends, because they was a police and they said the government can surveil you in any way as long as you have a credit card or electronics. So I've always thought that anything with a chip in it, the government can spy on you. But if you're not doing nothing wrong, my grandma say, then you don't got nothing to worry about. And I don't worry about stuff like that because I don't do nothing wrong.
Yeah,
I don't
but they
care.
don't have to lie to us to say that they don't do something that we know they do. And
Yeah,
Snowden,
we know that they spy
yeah,
on
yeah,
people. They
Snowden
do.
is living outside this country because he exposed what the government is doing, and they're mad, just waiting for him to come back in so they can
You remember
arrest
that
him.
alert that went out a long time ago on every cell phone in America? I told somebody, you can't think that the government ain't spying on you if they can simultaneously send an alert to every cell phone in the United States.
Yeah,
Come
We
on,
yeah.
got
guys,
a week,
wake up.
folks. We got
I mean,
tomorrow going on. Join us tomorrow. We got us another fun set of topics.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
Johnny will tell a little bit about how Dreamland Music's concert
Oh,
went on April
yeah. Oh, I'll
9th.
tell you about that. It was pretty interesting, and we
oh
have
wow.
we have a guy there. He's a white brother. He does Jamaican music, and he said he did a song called he's not a gang, but he's a muffin gangster. I don't know. It was a fun reggae song. So maybe I'll bring that and play a little
Can
bit
you
of
play the
that video.
music? Can the
Oh,
music be played on your? I'd
yeah,
like
it's
to hear that.
original. Yeah, it's a lot of original music. So I'm gonna get it from my wife. She has the well, I have it on my thing too. I just have to cut it up and get that part. But it was a fun concert, and I'll tell you more about that tomorrow. So we'll see.
Hey, drop me the link so I can continue to tune in to you guys. Maybe not me as a guest, but I can tune in when you guys have all these fun topics, and so I can tune in. It would be great. I would love it. This is fun.
All right, I would. And you sound, it sound like you already subscribed to us, so you get our alerts right on YouTube.
Yeah, I get your alerts, I believe, on YouTube. Send me
Yeah.
your I think I subscribed. Send me your YouTube link because I followed something. I'm not sure if it's
Yeah.
YouTube or Facebook.
Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you tomorrow night here on Innervision FM. And Alan, fantastic job. And also you too, Ashlyn, for
Thank
contributing
you.
to the show.
Thanks for joining.
All right.
And I'll talk to you after the show.